So I wanted to take a step back and try to sum a few things up, starting with the idea that you are responsible for your life. And this is from a clip I played in a previous video already.
I was really very excited about it because basically the message of The Secret is the message that I've been trying to share with the world on my show for the past 21 years. The message is that you're really responsible for your life. You are responsible for your life. I've known this. I've known this since The Color Purple.
So in her own words, this was the message of the Oprah Winfrey Show, which ran, mind you, in national syndication from 1986 to 2011. You are responsible for you. This has many iterations in popular American culture, a number of which I have already covered. You have a choice, either to be a victim or to thrive. Just be positive, or the law of attraction, the idea that if you just think positively, your own health, happiness, and whatever else you want is in your direct control. Just improve yourself is another. If you go to the gym, go more. If you eat healthy, eat even more healthier. This is the key to transforming your life and the solution to all of your problems. Even further, you get messages like, you have no control over the hand you are dealt in life, but you are responsible for overcoming. Just love yourself, or more specifically, you have to love yourself before someone else can love you. Addressing the issue of personal responsibility as present in the George W. Bush era, Rob Horning writes, before citing socialist talking points, unfortunately, that I am responsible for everything that happens to me usually has a corollary of things happen for divine reasons I should accept on faith and not try to understand. Or, as I would put it, the idea that you are responsible for you comes with a seemingly contrary justification that everything happens for a reason. Much of this comes directly from the ever-growing self-help industry, which Americans have literally bought into, propping it up by spending millions of dollars on whatever personalities or literature the likes of Oprah recommend on television, to the point that the global self-help market, currently valued at some $40 billion US, is projected to be valued at anywhere between $80 and $90 US within 10 years. But the messaging comes from more than just the self-help industry. The same message that Oprah claims to have tried to convey from the 1980s on is also one of the key messages of the likes of the conservative Daily Wire decades later. At least when it comes to Americans and American issues, rather than the nation of it is the same message. The only one who is accountable for you is you. You might also argue that this message has been reinvigorated by, or is the pendulum swinging from the opposite extreme of a culture that created the professional victim and his or her accomplices. Think Crystal Mangum, to cite an indisputable example of a professional victim. However, I would argue at this point that this is an excuse you can use to turn your nose up at the problems other people are facing. It moves us from the assumption that everyone, albeit the cis white male, is inherently a victim, to the idea that there can be no victim. To this perspective, taking it to its conclusion, the only thing you can possibly be a victim of is your own choices. Because no matter what happens, the individual at some point has the ability to just pick themselves back up again. There is no cause and effect beyond the idea that your actions have consequences for you and only you. The perspective reduces societal problems down to the logic of, well, if you commit a crime, you will go to jail. It looks at the individual in total isolation, as if an individual's choices can never have any meaningful impact on someone else's life and their choices. Personal responsibilities pundits will often state it plainly. that if we were all just personally responsible for our own actions and our own lives, widespread issues would disappear and we would live in paradise. Any widespread issue, perhaps even widespread cultural level issues, can easily simply be surmounted by you just being responsible for you. As if you just focusing on your own actions will solve problems like child sex trafficking, economic crises exacerbated by federal spending, the government deciding who gets to work and when, the fentanyl crisis enhanced by international factors, the world of social media, television, and technology, which has been designed to be addictive, is heavily censored by the government and impacts the development of relationships. Name your own issue according to the various popular pundits of personal responsibility. It can be controlled at the snap of your finger by your own personal responsibility. Some of this is an exaggeration, but not by much. Put in the form of a question, as much as I personally abhor the behaviors of our youngest generations, at what point is the individual in his late teens or early 20s and beyond, in a culture of prolonged adolescence, a young person who has perhaps had nothing in the way of real parenting or mentorship, someone who has in fact been sent down the wrong path in the name of help or mentorship? At what point are the consequences of that young person's life simply a matter of their own personal responsibility? You, as an individual, can only control so much. Yes, you have a responsibility to handle what you can control to the best of your ability. But the idea that you are just personally responsible for you, that if everyone is just personally responsible for themselves, that we would thrive on a broad level, ignores the reality that we, at a certain level, are also responsible for each other. And I still have more I want to add to this, so I hope to see you next time.